Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to DuePoint. My name's Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here at DuePoint. I'll be spending the next 60 minutes with you. We'll be going through who DuePoint is and what you're here for this evening. Welcome to everyone tuned in on the live stream around the country. Let's begin. So, you're in DuePoint's head office. We're actually a division of another business called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company in South Africa. That's their building in the background. They're based just down the road from us in Randburg. Their little orange logo. The FSP number that we operate under is that one that you see over there. Constantia is nearly 70 years old. They were founded in 1952, so they've been around for a very long time. You'll notice in the foyer above the water cooler, we've got all our FSP licenses on display. That's obviously regulation because we have to display all our FSP licenses. So we've got a long and short-term license framed up there. We've got an investment license. We've got our FSP license. And we also have our accreditation with the direct selling and the direct marketing associations. At this stage of the presentation, what we're trying to do is build some credibility with our guests. You might not know who Constantia is. Typically, they've always dealt with other businesses, other financial service providers, and not consumers or the public like us. But for the first time through DuePoint, they're now going to be addressing the public. So you're welcome to go do a background check on them if you like. We actually listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange under a company called Conduit Capital. The executives and the management team are these individuals that you see here, ranging from shortest to tallest, least best looking to best looking. Can you see that? Is it that obvious? The three individuals on the far left are all registered chartered accountants in South Africa. Brendan Penfield, who you saw here this evening, he's our senior executive. He leads DuePoint as a business. He's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly insurance, because their family have been involved in insurance his entire life, because his father is actually a professor of insurance who taught at Wits for 25 years. His father actually founded Clientele Life, probably one of the biggest life insurers in the country, amongst a host of other financial service providers around the world. Brendan and his brother Stuart followed in their father's footsteps. They went on to found PMD, or Prime Meridian Direct, which is a very successful short-term insurer based just down the road. And we probably all know PMD because PMD does a ton of advertising on a daily basis on all types of mediums. Then we've got Tim Reynolds. He's got a lot of experience in corporate banking because he worked at the First Rand Group for a very long time. He reported directly to the board of executives there. He heads up our financial, our accounting, our auditing aspects here at DuePoint. Stacey supports him in that role. She's got a lot of experience in auditing with Deloitte. She's worked for Deloitte most of her working career, locally as well as overseas. And then the two non-accountants, we've got Jane Verity. She's got a lot of experience in direct marketing and direct selling, which is fundamental to our business because even though we're an insurance company, our growth, our success is predicated on the success of referral or network marketing. And so Jane brings that experience to the business. And then myself, I've got a lot of experience in marketing and advertising. I've worked predominantly in that industry, specifically in the digital market. I started a digital agency in the mid-90s. I ran that for almost 20 years before I exited that business and joined the team here at DuePoint. So this is the team. These are the people you're going to be dealing with. At this stage of the presentation, again, like we're trying to build credibility in the business, it's important that you trust the people that you're getting into business with. It's fundamental to creating any partnership. Our mandate as staff here at DuePoint is to support everyone that joins this business. So it's important for you to know that the people you're partnering with will be collaborating towards your success. We can only be successful as a business, as an enterprise, if you are successful and effective in this partnership that we're going to be proposing tonight. And so it's good to know that you've got this common goal that you're going to be collaborating towards with the business that you're going to be joining. So why are we here this evening? How many guests do we have here this evening? Just a quick show of hands. Don't be shy. It's the only question I'm going to ask you tonight. All very nervous, like it's your first day at school. Okay, so welcome to the guests. We kind of discussed the driving behavior, why people would be interested in an entrepreneurial opportunity. Why would you be here on a Thursday evening? There are way better things to be doing than sitting here listening to this guy on the stage, right? But unfortunately, employment isn't the answer to all our problems, is it? If it was, we certainly wouldn't be here. We would be happy with the economy. We would be happy with the workplace. We would be happy with our bosses. But we aren't. So You might have been, the person that invited you might have alluded to some financial opportunity which you are interested in. You are here this evening in hope of changing your circumstances. They might have blatantly said to you, do you want to make more money? Right? And I assume the answer was yes, exactly. Otherwise, you're in the wrong place. You know, there's a bar on the 3rd floor next door. Maybe you were coming to here, and a lot of people take a wrong turn. I'm very tempted sometimes to say, yes, you're in the right place, just come in. So what is the driving factors, the driving behavior towards people wanting to change their circumstances from a financial point of view? So a couple of the aspects that we look at, and unfortunately all negative, because employment isn't the answer to all our problems. One is the economy. So the economy plays out in a number of different ways. Currently, the economy is in a recession, which means our economy is shrinking at the moment. It's been shrinking for the last 6 months, which just exacerbates things terribly. So it plays out in the form of unemployment. We've got about 9 million people unemployed, and because we're in a recession, that number will obviously grow. We've got about 800,000 kids coming out of school every year into the workplace, in a workplace where we're not creating jobs. We see it in the form of retrenchment. We see it in the form of not getting a raise every year. Everyone get an 8% raise for the last 5 years, year on year? We laugh. We laugh at it, right? So the economy plays out in these different ways. One aspect that certainly exacerbates our financial position negatively is the 4-letter word up on the screen. Can you all see the 4-letter word? The one you have a love-hate relationship with. You loved it once, and you realized, no, you don't love it, you actually hate it. Right? And this, like I said, exacerbates our financial position, because I think when you're younger, you don't actually realize the impact that debt will have on your life in the long term. You don't realize it when you engage in debt at the beginning. Debt is afforded to you at an early age, and South Africans will typically engage in a whole plethora of different debt instruments, right? But these financial institutions offer us not only debt instruments, they offer us savings and investment products too. But South Africans don't engage in savings and investments. On a whole, we engage in a lot of debt, and statistically, we only start looking at investment products much later in life. Later being too late in life. So we'll engage in things like credit cards. You've got 6 slots in your wallet, so you need to fill every slot up in your wallet. Home loans, very typical. People, you know, it's natural to want to get a home loan. No one can afford to buy a house cash or even a car cash, so we get car loans. There's educational loans, personal loans, hire purchase contracts. What else do we have? You can have a Woolworths card that you can pay avocados off for 6 months. So you have a whole bunch of things, clothing accounts, the list goes on and on and on and on, and we will engage in these various debt instruments for the majority of our lives. And we might never even get to the position of becoming debt-free, ever in our lives, right? But the problem is when you're in an economy like we are in currently, that's certainly not doing us any favors, your financial position starts to get squeezed every month. Why? Because when the economy gets worse, when you hear that the economy has gone from 0.3% growth last year to negative 0.6% in the last 6 months, what happens is interest rates go up, inflation goes up, food inflation is sitting at 11%. It means food's doubling in price every 8 years. And so if you're trying to survive as a family, month on month, you will realize that you've got less and less money at the end of every month. And to make things worse, your employer is not giving you that 7-8% increase every year in line with inflation. So you get squeezed more and more and more. And we see it happening with South Africans. We've got some new statistics that came out this year that said 50% of people that have debt, which is pretty much the entire country that's working, 50% that people have debt are under debt review. It means they've missed more than 3 months worth of debt payments. That's half the population is in this position. So can you see how debt just makes it worse? If you're currently in that debt and you're currently squeezed already, things are only going to get worse. And unfortunately, we've got this thing looming upon us called retirement, right? So here's some data that shows you what responsible retirement can look like. This article was written for the fin24.com website late last year, and we've got 3 columns here. The columns are all headed with income amount that you could derive if you have a certain investment that you've made, right? So by the time you get to retirement, if you've got R1,000,000 in an investment, that R1,000,000 will typically pay you out about 5,000 Rand a month. Okay, it'll last 30 years. So the R1,000,000 will start running out over a 30-year period. So if you retire at 60, you'll get this payment paid out to you for the next 30 years, from 60 to 90 years of age. Anyone survive on 5,000 Rand a month? Nobody. You can't. Impossible. How many of us are saving, currently today, saving towards R1,000,000 investment? Can you see the problem? The majority of South Africans will only start saving for their retirements when they're around the age of 50. If you want to start saving towards R1,000,000, you can do that. You can start saving 800 Rand a month for the next 40 years uninterrupted. And then you'll be in the position where you have R1,000,000 investment that'll pay you out 5,000 Rand a month. But no one's looking at the 5,000 Rand. You're looking a little more to the right. Right? You know, 26,000 Rand sounds a little better. I can survive on that when I'm retired. You need 5 million Rand as an investment by the time you retire, if you want to work towards that. And if you've got time on your side, you can do that. You know, responsible retirement planning starts at a young age. Unfortunately, as 20-something-year-olds, we don't realize that. We're still a bit wet behind the ears, and we think we're all going to own Porsches and Ferraris by the time we're 30, and so we wing it for the first 10 years. Because you can put away 4,000 Rand a month for 40 years, and you'll be in that position. 4,000 Rand a month. And by the way, that contribution has to go up in line with inflation every year. So your contribution amount has to increase by 7-8% every year. But what happens if your boss is not giving you the increase every year? How do you afford to keep up with the contribution, to keep up with where you want to be for retirement? This is not the proposed solution. If you start investing early, that's great. That's great. But if you're only depending on a single line of income, your risk becomes exponentially bigger, because you're more at risk of not getting a raise. You're more at risk of being retrenched rather than promoted in the current economy. So out of all of this negativity, unfortunately, as a business, as an enterprise, we saw an opportunity to create a platform for the average South African to engage in that will allow them to break out of this debt cycle. We've got 3 aspirations for the people that join this business. So we've got 3 goals for you. 1, to become debt-free. We want the people in this business to get to that status called debt-free. Like I said, some people will never get there in their lifetimes. People will die and pass the debt on to their kids. You realize the debt doesn't disappear when you die. The bank goes knocking on the door of your kids, of your spouse, and says, so-and-so owes us money. It doesn't disappear. So that's our first aspiration for the people that join this business. Become debt-free. Think about what that must look like or feel like when you're completely debt-free. Our second aspiration is for everyone to start investing in a proper investment as soon as possible, so that they can work towards their retirement. They can work long-term towards something. And then the third aspiration is for the people in this business just to be happier. That's why you're here tonight, right? You had this inkling of hope. You thought, I've been invited to one of these presentations. But you had this inkling of hope that maybe tonight you'll hear about something that can potentially change your situation, where you empower yourself to take control over your income instead of being on the receiving end of the economy, of politics, of global economics, all these things that are completely out of our control. So how does it work? The guests this evening, you've got the opportunity to join this business called DuePoint. When you join us, you actually contract with DuePoint. We call you a wealth engineer when you contract with us. And all we want you to do is go out and build what we call channels of distribution. Okay, I'll show you what a channel of distribution looks like. And through this channel of distribution, which is you really introducing people to this business, we'll attempt to place product with the people that you introduce to us. And that's basically how this entire business works. The benefit for you is obviously that you get to create additional income. This is the only way you're going to get out of debt any faster than you currently are. The nature of the income that you produce here is one that is recurring. Now, there are only a few businesses that create recurring income. Insurance companies is one of them. Successful insurance companies will create great recurring income. on a sustainable business. You get to partake in that benefit. So what is recurring income? Recurring income is when you build an asset and the asset derives income for you regardless of your effort. Do you understand? So in my business, the business that I ran previously was a service-based business. We didn't create any recurring income. It's one of the biggest reasons why I left the business, because I realized I would have to work until I die, right? So the effort I put into 1 month would only derive income for that 1 month. At the end of the month, I'd have to start at zero again and do it again. Look for business, do the business, invoice the business. Look for business, do the business, invoice the business. I did that for 17 years. No more. No more. You need to do the same thing. You need to start looking for something that creates recurring or passive income for yourself. And this business does that. You get to harness the power of duplication. We imagine that you would have to sacrifice time to do this business. And so we've built the system so that you get to take advantage of leverage. So what is that? These channels of distribution that we propose you building, actually you going out and building teams that will collaborate with you. So if you've got limited time, you've only got an hour to invest in this business every day, for example. But if you've got 10 people that are collaborating with you, that you've brought into the business, you potentially now have 11 hours, 10 people plus you putting in an hour a day. That's time being invested into your business to increase your recurring income. The nature of this business is one where you can engage in it from a flexi-time point of view. Now, this is a double-edged sword, because you might be thinking, well, flexi-time means I can do this business when I feel like it. Well, you can, but if you want to be successful at it, you need to book this business into your diary, into your schedule on a weekly basis, if you want to be successful. Anyone can join this business. That's the easiest part. But to be successful and effective at it, it's going to have to become part of your life. Right? By the end of the presentation, I'm hoping that you'll see enough benefit in this business where you can make a decision and go, jeez, if this business works the way it seems to work, I'll commit the rest of my life to this business. That's what we want people to decide to do, because this business will potentially change your life. It'll change your family's lives, generations to come. Do you know how difficult it is for people to break out of a debt cycle? There have been studies all over the world that show how people cannot change class. They cannot change class. There's generational wealth that happens, whether it's poor or rich. And it's easier to go poorer than it is to go richer, right? You need to be the person that breaks out of this debt cycle that the majority of South Africa find themselves in. There's no startup capital. This is a very low-risk business opportunity. There's no registration fees or starting up fees. There's no boxes of products that you have to buy to get involved in this business. So we've kept it as low risk as possible. There's no qualifications or experience required. We work in financial services, a heavily regulated industry. We've contracted you out of that obligation around all of the regulation. So you can partake in the benefit of being in financial services without any of that onus of regulation, which is frankly very painful. You get to build an asset. This is a very important point. This is the antithesis of employment, because most of us are employed and we are spending how many hours? 8 hours, 40, 45 hours a week, 40, 45 years of our life investing our time into someone else's business, into someone else's asset. In this business, you're contributing time into an asset that you own. It belongs to you. The accountability lies with you to invest time into this thing. So you can move this asset into a family trust. You can give it to your kids one day. You can cede it to your beneficiaries if something happens to you. You can sell it. It's yours. The nature of our business means there's no selling. There's no woohoos. Are you all star salespeople? I didn't know I was getting a whole audience of star salespeople. Right, that was probably the first question you asked the person that invited you here. What are we selling at that business that you're inviting me to? What's the products? What's the products? There's no selling involved in this business. None. The nature of our products are financial products. It means they're intangible. Like I said, there's no box of products that you have to buy to get started in this business. There's no stock. It doesn't take up space at home. It doesn't expire. So we make this business as convenient and as simple as possible to get involved with. And this is all determined or predicated on you being able to go out and build these channels of distribution. So this is what a channel of distribution looks like. It begins with you become a wealth engineer, and what are you going to go do? You're going to go out and you're going to tell people about the business opportunity, the income opportunity at DuePoint. This is probably one of the most attractive commodities in South Africa at the moment. Income opportunity. That's what you're going to be speaking about. And if you're successful in that and you can get a few people to join this business, those people that join will do the same thing and go out and tell other people, right? This is leverage. This is the power of duplication happening. How much effort did it take to introduce 5 people into this business? Look at what the potential can be. This is very similar to how some social networks work, like Facebook. There's you with your friends and your friends' friends, 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 friends. When Facebook tries to sell advertising to a media company like the one I ran, they will say, I can give you access to 1 million people. And I go, well, how do you do that? It's through a referral network like this. This is what your channel of distribution can look like. And after a certain amount of time, you'll have a few more dots. You're getting paid for every single dot on the screen every single month in a recurring income. So you'll be forgiven if you start thinking, sure, I've got 2,000 friends on Facebook, I'm going to be rich by the end of the year. Doesn't work like that. Someone said to me just before the presentation started, I hope it's not like that Triple M business. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. I said, no, we're not like one of those businesses. But you might have thought that, right? You might have thought, oh, I've been invited to one of these schemes. I never knew about how many schemes were involved or existed in South Africa until I joined DuePoint. They seem to come out the woodwork. It shows you how desperate society is to create income for themselves when people are willing to engage in a business that is not even in South Africa, where the owner has been sitting in jail for 10 years and comes out on YouTube and says, just put money in this bank account and I'll give you 25% return every week. And people believe it and put their money in it. This is not one of these businesses. We're a 70-year-old financial services business. We're one of the few registered insurance companies in South Africa. We don't smell anything like one of those businesses. We've got very reputable individuals running this company. I'll also never promise you success quickly or easily. On the previous slide, I said, easy and convenient, right? You remember? That's what I said? I said, easy and convenient to get involved with. Not to be successful at. To be successful, that's a whole nother ball game. Any aspect of your life that you want to be successful at requires persistency, consistency. You have to get through the frustration. You have to have a long-term outlook to be successful at anything. And it's the same for this business. If you've ever had the pleasure of trying to start your own business, you will appreciate that fact. 95% of companies fail in the first 12 months. Isn't that frightening statistics? Who on earth would want to start a company with those stats? Fortunately, you're partnering with a business that has got so much experience at very low cost, very low risk to you. So how do we pay our wealth engineers? Well, we pay them something called a return at the end of every month, based on how much product you have in your channel of distribution, right? So we pay a base return fee of 27.50 Rand for every product that you have in your channel. So remember the first 5 people that you introduced to DuePoint? Those individuals lie on your first point. They are 1 point away from you, and on your first point, we actually pay you double that 27.50 Rand. We pay you 55 Rand for every single product every month. Remember, recurring income for every product on your first point. On the second point, the same. These are friends of friends, or colleagues of friends, or whatever. These are people you don't know. They're 2 points away from you, and again, we pay you 55 Rand for every product every month. Onto the third point, the multiplier drops to 100%, and it keeps dropping all the way to the 8th point. But we don't limit you at the 8th point. So from the 8th point, in theory, into infinity, we will keep paying you 1.10 Rand for every product beyond that. We don't limit you on how much money you can make at DuePoint, because we don't limit you on how big your channel can get at DuePoint. Again, the accountability lies with you. Are you doing this short term, or are you doing this long term? So this is the mechanics of the returns. I think it's fairly straightforward. The next question we get is, well, how much money can I earn after a certain amount of time? Give me some idea of what I'm getting myself into. So we have this thing called the path to success. It relies on this growth formula that we call 3 plus 2. Okay? It expects, or it imagines, that a new wealth engineer can bring 3 people into the business in their first month. And then every consecutive month, 2 people a month. Right? So we call it 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 into perpetuity. If you can do that, if you can follow that growth formula, you can expect to earn these numbers. So after 6 months, you could be earning 2,500 rand a month. Are you waiting for the million rand slide, or no one's left yet? Everyone seems to be holding their breath. Is 2,500 rand good money after 6 months, or is it too little, or have you wasted your petrol money coming here tonight? Let me give you a little bit of context, a little more appreciation around money. Einstein said the 8th wonder of the world is the compounding effect. You are either on the good side of compound interest, or you're on the bad side of compound interest. I trust that 99% of the people in this room have got some form of debt in their lives. Here's a person with 1 million rand debt. They've got 1 million rand bond. If they engage with the bank now, a 20-year bond, typically, most of us engage in a 20-year bond term. Let's say they're 35. They will end up paying the house off finally when they're in their 50s, right? 35 all the way to 55. They'll be paying about 11,500 rand a month at the current interest rate, at prime. Yes? For 20 years, you're going to make that payment. They join DuePoint, and after some success, after 6 months, they're earning 2,500 rand. The one we all, should I say, turned our noses up at. That little 2,500 rand. But what do you do with the 2,500 rand? That additional income that you created for yourself. We want you to pay your debt off as quickly as possible. So this person puts the 2,500 rand as an additional payment into their bond. The effect of that is that the bond term drops from 20 years to 11.5 years. This person, if he engaged in the bond at the age of 35, he now, instead of waiting until he's 55, he becomes the homeowner at the age of 46, not 55. He's given himself almost 10 years extra to be able to invest that 11,500 rand that he's not paying anymore straight into a retirement plan or to some investment. He saves, or she saves, 1 million rand in repayments that he didn't have to, or she didn't have to make on 1 million rand house. Let me say that again. The extra 2,500 rand will save that person 1 million rand in repayments on 1 million rand house. Compound interest in the long term will kill you. 98% of South Africans get to retirement financially dependent. Think about that. Do not let your brain fool you to thinking I'm one of the 2%. We're not at the casino. That's like putting your money on 0 at the roulette wheel. You have very slim odds of being part of the 2%. We need to start thinking about our money, about debt, very differently. That's not too late. If you're young, great, you've got time on your side. If you're older, like me, if you're even older, it's not too late. There is still time to change your circumstance very quickly. 6 months. After 12 months, you could be earning nearly 10,000 rand a month. It's in excess of 100,000 rand that you create for yourself as recurring income annually. Anyone get 100,000 rand bonus in the last year? I think people are too shy to put their hand up if they have, because they know the whole room's full of poor people and we're going to be rushing them for money. After 24 months, you could be earning close to 30,000 rand a month, right? That has significant impact on a family. After 36 months, we're on about 50,000 rand a month. Here's an example of someone with a 5 million rand bond. They'll be earning about 37,000 rand. If they put that amount of money into a 5 million rand bond as an additional payment, they'll pay that house off in less than 7 years. I like this example because I'm 40. And if I'm able to do this, if I'm ever in this position to do this, Property's a great asset to have, as long as you've got more than one. If you only got one and you're living in it, well, it better be a nice house and you better enjoy it. Because when you get to retirement, you're going to have to sell it and move into a caravan, right? To survive retirement. That's what most people are faced with. That's the decision that 98% is faced with when they get to retirement. Because their income disappears. And they're forced to go, well, what do we do now? We sell the house, we move in with the kids, try to find another job. So if I'm 40, I can do this 3 times over to the age of 61. At the age of 61, I would have done this 3 times. I'll have owned 3 houses now worth 5 million rand each. Live in one, rent the other 2 out. That's passive income from an asset that I've got. This is what you've been doing here at DuePoint. After 48 months, you're close to about 70,000 rand a month. And after 60 months, you've created for yourself about 1 million rand in recurring income over and above your salary. I don't think people believe that this can be possible for them. I think you look at it and say 1 million rand. 1 million rand over and above your salary. Do you believe that's even possible? The growth model is the same. You thought, you probably thought at the beginning, right? I get to 2,500 rand after 6 months, easy. But if you carry on going, according to the same growth model, this is where you get to. But people don't think long term. I see it in the business. I see people joining. They get short-term frustration because they have short-term expectations. They get frustrated and they give up. To get to 60 months, you can't give up. You've got to keep going. But this is only an example. And like I said, it's based on this formula called 3+2, but it's purely academic. This is just theory. You can do less than 3+2. You can join this business and not do anything. And then you'll be part of 0+0 formula. And how much will you be earning after 60 months? Exactly. But you can do more than 3+2. And we've got many, many wealth engineers doing more than 3+2. Denzel joined at the end of August last year. By April, he was earning about close to 2,500 rand. So he tracked 3+2 in his first 6 months quite closely. But at the beginning of the year, if you go speak to him and listen to his story is actually on YouTube. You can go listen to his testimony. He admits that only at the beginning of this year did he realize the value of this business that he had. And suddenly he started contributing about 4 times more time into the business. We saw him maybe once, twice a month. Suddenly at the beginning of the year, we started seeing him almost every day. Look what effect it had on his income. Did he have to beg for an increase? Did he have to hope that the economy would suddenly change around so his income could go up? No. He had control over his income. He started putting in more time and his income went up. He gave himself a 100% raise in 30 days. He doubled his income in 30 days. Do you know that if you got an 8% increase every year from your employer, it would take nearly 10 years before your income doubled? 10 years. If you got an 8% increase every year, and no one got an 8% increase in the last rolling 5 years. Stop looking at employment as the solution to everything. Employment is the answer to the Industrial Revolution, nothing else. It has got nothing to do with family, becoming rich, wealthy, financially empowered. It's got nothing to do with that. Employment was designed for industrialization. At our expense, we have to break out of that mindset. Nonkobela from East London, again, she joined March 2016. If you listen to her testimony, she said she did nothing for a whole year. Fortunately for her, she saw the success of one of the other wealth engineers on Facebook. They were Facebook friends. And she'll admit she was involved in these other schemes, she says. And she got stuck in at the beginning of the year. And look at her income. It's great. So, little lady, pack of dynamite, softly spoken, owns a nursery school. She has aspirations of getting into the logistics business. She wants to have a bus company, of all things. She wants DuePoint to fund that dream. You'll all have different reasons for doing this. She can put 40 people into this business in a single month. She only had frustration the whole of 2016. Just frustration, frustration, frustration. She said she'd build it up and the business would just collapse, and she'll build it up again and collapse. She realized by the end of last year she was doing it incorrectly. She was just bringing anyone who wanted income into the business. That's the wrong way. Always emphasize, bring quality, resourceful people into the business. You're building a business, it's not a charity. Find people that you want in your business to help you build this business. And she started doing that at the beginning of the year. Now she's building a much more sustainable business. We've got hundreds of wealth engineers that we pay every month who have created an additional income stream for themselves. They sat in the chair just like you. They were exposed to DuePoint for the first time ever. And there's this requirement to take this step of faith. There is. You have to trust yourself. There's no reward without risk. In the insurance industry, that's clear. Because when any underwriting happens, the greater the risk, the greater the reward. That's just one of the rules in life. So this is the returns. This is what we pay our wealth engineers at the end of every month. Over and above that, we've got another thing called the XP Rewards Program. This rewards program rewards you with the success that you have at DuePoint. If you become a wealth engineer this evening, you will typically start engaging in typical wealth engineer behavior, which is like coming to presentations, bringing guests, logging into your dashboard. When you do these things, we give you something called XP. Stands for experience points. It indicates to us how active you are as a wealth engineer. And when you start collecting all this XP and your business starts to grow, your channel starts to grow with regards to product, we reward you along the way. So if you become a wealth engineer tonight, you'll start out as a rank 0 wealth engineer. You're still part of the 0+0 club. But very quickly you can get to rank 1 because you only need 1,000 XP and you need 4 products in your channel. And when you achieve those 2 things, you become rank 1. And we'll be paying you a return at the end of the month, but through the XP Rewards program, we'll give you an extra 55 Rand to say, well done on getting to rank 1. You can go buy yourself a cappuccino and celebrate. But as you start to have more success, as your business starts to grow and you're collecting more XP as you go along, you'll get to rank 2. And the rewards get bigger and better the more you rank up. You can see 100 Rand, 400 Rand, 1,500, 20,000, 50,000 Rand over and above your return. We give our wealth engineers tools that help them be more effective in building their channels of distribution. Here's Patrick and Pumi, the lightning memory stick that you get at rank 5. It's an awesome little device because it's got all our video collateral on that device, but it plugs into anything. Literally, it plugs into anything. Phones, tablets, laptops, computers, TVs, Android, Apple, and banana. Everything. Right? So Patrick and Pumi can show people the DuePoint opportunity regardless of what device they have on them. At rank 7, we get these premium luxury business cards manufactured for our rank 7 wealth engineers. To get a single set done costs us in excess of 20,000 Rand. But we usually get 2 sets done at a time, and then the price comes down to 12,500 Rand a set. Why do we do that? Because DuePoint at this stage doesn't really have any brand equity outside of this building. Right? What does that mean? It means that people don't know what DuePoint is. So if you go to someone and you say, I've got this wonderful business proposition called DuePoint, you could have said blah, 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 Marmite to them. But when you pull out a 20,000 Rand business card and you say, this is the business I'm part of, and they realize that the business card is about 50 times more valuable than the business card their boss gave them, your credibility suddenly goes up. That person is suddenly willing to listen to you a little longer so that you can explain what DuePoint's all about. At rank 9, we take our rank 9 wealth engineers and above and their families on a 7-day, all expenses paid trip on a DuePoint international conference overseas, business class flights to a 5-star luxury resort every single year going forward. It's not a once-off reward. This is something that you'll get to do every single year. We had one gentleman who got to rank 9 in 5 months. 5 months away. So take a look at where we're going. Decide if you're coming or not. We need to book tickets early.
to the ocean sun where no one can see. You stand on at the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
Looks great, doesn't it? I love that video. That's actual footage of the hotel that all the rank 9s will be going to at the end of the year. Everyone has equal opportunity in this room to get there. There's no time limit on getting to rank 9. Again, accountability lies with you. You need to get excited not about rank 9. You need to get excited about rank 1, about 55 Rand. Can you get excited about 55 Rand? Yeah. The behavior, the activity remains exactly the same all the way up to rank 9. If you can get to rank 1, you can get to rank 20. At rank 11, we buy the wealth engineer a brand new car and give it to them. We pay cash, no debit order at the end of the month for the wealth engineer. A common thread throughout this business is to get the wealth engineer to debt-free status. That's where we want you to get. This is just rank 11. The program showed up to rank 20. We've designed up to rank 28 already behind the scenes. This is early days. Like I said, you can get you in 5 months. 5 months. How many of us are still thinking short term? You have to think long term. What do you think happens at rank 28? Mansion, Learjet, Donald Trump will be your secretary. Huh? Long term, guys. Another benefit we have for our wealth engineers is something that we run every month. It's called the Wealth Quest. A little pink WQ you see there. And what we do every month is we issue our wealth engineers with a challenge, right? Keep the month interesting. This month is called the Quest for Quality, where we challenge wealth engineers to bring in 2 people on their first point, get them qualified, and achieve 100% BPQ on their first and second points, which means there are no return debit orders on your first and second point. That's why it's called the Quest to Quality, or the Quest for Quality. And if you can do that, you'll have 5,000 Rand extra at the end of next month, plus 2,000 XP. So this is this month's quest. more benefit for our wealth engineers. We get asked the question, how does the business model work? Because it seems we spend a lot on our wealth engineers in the terms of returns and rewards and wealth quests. That's a traditional business model on the far left there. They engage in traditional forms of marketing, especially in an insurance company. They spend a considerable amount of money on client acquisition. Okay? Jeepers, this thing will not go away. Bill Gates. DuePoint doesn't do any marketing. You will not see any advertising of DuePoint. Persistent. Let's just do this. That might help, eh? It's like hitting the snooze button and it comes up every week. DuePoint doesn't do any advertising. You won't see a DuePoint logo outside of this building. We don't spend a cent on advertising. We rely on our wealth engineers to tell people about who DuePoint is and about the opportunity. So we take that portion that the insurance industry spends billions on in terms of marketing and advertising, and we, in the form of returns and rewards, we give it to our wealth engineers. And that's basically how this business model works. We've got 3 products in this business. You're free to look at one or all 3 products because they have very different benefits. Our first product is called Access Wealth. It is an investment product for 299 Rand a month, of which 100 Rand goes into a tax-free investment fund housed with Sanlam. It's not a notice or a fixed deposit. You can draw that money, that investment out at any stage. It takes about 72 hours to process and the money's yours. We give you a little bit of insurance with this product. We give you 110,000 Rands worth of personal accident cover with this investment. So this is product number 1, our investment product. Product number 2 is called Wealth Guard. This is an insurance product. So this is strictly, it's purely insurance. 274 Rand a month, but this time you get 1.1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. The beauty of our personal accident covers, because they're not comprehensive life insurance products, we don't profile you from a health risk point of view. So we don't ask for blood tests and urine tests and your entire medical history up until you were 3 years old. How many times have you been in hospital and you're trying to think? And you've got to phone your granny to find out if you've been in hospital. We don't profile you from a health risk point of view. So it doesn't matter what your age is. As long as you're above the age of 18, you can be 90 years old and diabetic, you can still take this product out. So this is the insurance product. Product number 3 is called the Wealth Points Buyers Club program. This product aims to save you money on the money that you're spending every month anyway. So for 274 Rand a month, you get to engage with a list of partners that we have there, and we've negotiated discounts for all our Wealth Points members with those partners. So ShopRite Checkers is a very popular one because we spend a fortune on groceries every month. And next month, we're probably going to be spending more. So through this program, you can go to ShopRite Checkers and get 2.5% off your entire trolley every time you go buy groceries. We've got the Entertainer, over 1 million Rands worth of buy one, get one free vouchers to restaurants, hotels around the world, spas, all kinds of events. Eagle Ford is a new partner that we signed on in the beginning of this year. We can go get the best deal on any car, not only Fords, they'll arrange anything for you. So we've got a whole bunch of other retail partners there. We've just signed on another partner called Always On. Always On is probably one of the only telecoms companies that offers super Wi-Fi data hotspots around the country. They've got 2,500 hotspots, and we've negotiated data at nearly 1/3 of the price for our Wealth Points members. So you can get a gig for 36 Rand. Okay, so this is available immediately. If you want to engage in this, you need to obviously be a Wealth Points member. Just phone client service. They'll explain how you get this onto your phone and you're able to use the data. It's very much a data-driven business, right? So this is a tool for your business. I remind you of the support that you get here as a wealth engineer. If you become a wealth engineer, please lean into that support. Engage with us, right? Don't expect to know everything or how to do this business because you've done something similar in the past. Everything that we do here is to support the wealth engineer. So the facilities we've set up are for our wealth engineers. We've got live stream. We live stream every event to the entire country so that you can start building your business, your channel of distribution outside of Johannesburg. We've got free Wi-Fi for you, free tea and coffee, if that's what gets you here. You can have your own presentations. You can do meetings in our boardrooms. Make yourself at home here. Engage with the business, right? Especially if you're going to be here for the next 20, 30 years. You've got to become like the furniture here. So we're near the end of the presentation, the decision slide. What is the decision? We spoke about all the negative aspects of everything in the beginning of the presentation, not to scare you, but to give you a realistic view of what majority of South Africans are experiencing. You know personally the financial pain that you experience month to month, year to year. Has there been any drastic change to your financial circumstance in the last 5 years? No, not positively. You might have got retrenched in the last 5 years. That would have been a negative effect. You need to now do something that is going to set you apart from that 98%. No one else is going to do it for you. The economy is not going to change. Your boss is not going to call you in tomorrow and say, we're giving you a promotion and 100% raise. Go ask him for that. See what he says. It's ridiculous, right? We have to do these things for ourselves now. Even the people that love you will be the detractors in this. You try to join any business or start showing any success, you will see the detractors coming out of the woodwork saying, what are you doing? I've experienced it. Do it for yourself. Find a goal big enough that motivates you, that allows you to happily engage in this business that takes up your free time every single week for the next 20 years. And hopefully within the next couple of years, it'll suddenly change for you. It'll change your circumstance so that you're happy to engage with this business. But at the beginning, it requires sacrifice and pain to get there. I don't want you joining this business and treating it like a New Year's resolution. A lot of people do that, right? They get excited by the presentation. Woo, rank 9. Join the business. We never see them again. The 0+0 club. Let this be one thing that you become successful at, because it's probably one of the most important things in your life. If you be successful at this, I promise you it'll change your life. If you have any questions around this business opportunity, come speak to me after the presentation. I've heard all kinds of objections to this business. Don't come to me and tell me you don't have enough time. That's my pet hate. I don't have enough time. You don't have enough time to change your circumstance? Stay where you are for the rest of your life. We make joining very easy. Like I said, we've got free Wi-Fi. If you've got your own smartphone or tablet on you, jump onto our homepage. We've got Wi-Fi. We've got tablets available for everybody in the breakout rooms. Jump onto the homepage, click on the blue apply button. There's an application form. It takes 7 minutes to complete. You'll be a wealth engineer. You can phone people tonight. You can start building an asset that you have ownership over tonight still. How fast is that? Right? Short-term expectation, that's the only thing that happens fast in this business, is the joining process. We've got merchandise. This is not a profit center for us. Please consider getting business cards, because if you are going to go out and propose a business to people, at least have business cards. This business very much relies on impression. You have to look the part. You have to speak professionally, look professional, be professional, have business cards. The business cards are on display in the merchandise cabinet. All the pricing on the merchandise is on the counter. The USB sticks are very convenient because they've got all our video collateral on there. So you can give those to people instead of expecting them to watch us on YouTube or through a live stream or coming to head office. And those little black pins represent people that are earning money at DuePoint. So if you're one of those people that become qualified in this business, i.e. you start earning money, get one of the pins. They're 40 Rand and they symbolize that you are being successful. You are out the 0+0 club. You're now part of the earning club at DuePoint. If you ask anyone for advice, don't go to someone who doesn't have a lapel pin. Right? You want to go speak to the people that are being successful in the business. We've got a YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. It'll tell you every time there's a live stream that's about to go live. It tells you every time there's a video uploaded. Everything that we've done in this business has been produced video-wise. It's on YouTube. If you become a wealth engineer, download the mobile app. You can run your business from the palm of your hand. From your mobile app. The app tells you in live, in real time, what's happening in your channel all the time, so that you can manage this business effectively. And that's it, guys. We're done. I hope that's answered 99% of your questions. I hope you're able to make a decision. I hope you've decided how this is going to fit into the rest of your life with a smile on your face. Have a wonderful week. Weekend's upon us. For those of you who join, rank 1 by Monday. Rank 1 by Monday. I said 24 hours, but I'm going to give you till Monday. Okay? Thanks so much.